You know, a single, simple decision you make today could literally be the difference between retiring wealthy and, well, not. And no, this doesn't require a six-figure salary or some fancy degree. So let's get into it because there's a simple strategy that most people just completely overlook, and it could totally change your financial future. And really, it all boils down to this one question. We're not talking about chasing some secret stock tip or, winning the lottery. It's way simpler than that. Just a small, repeatable action. Honestly, the secret is kind of boring, which is probably why so many people ignore it. But trust me, its power is, well, it's anything but boring.
Okay, to really get why this matters so much, we've got to start with a number, and that number is $1,000. Now, that might not sound like a ton of money, but for a lot of people, it might as well be a million. I mean, that's the reality we're looking at. More than half the population is living so close to the financial edge that just one thing, a minor car repair, an unexpected medical bill, could totally derail them. And get this, it's not just a low-income problem. We're talking about people with good jobs, people who on the surface look like they have it all together in stable, middle-class lives. And that brings us right to the heart of the problem, which is this financial trap that is just incredibly easy to fall into.
Yeah, it's what you might call the earn-spend cycle. It's simple. You make money, you spend that money, and you just repeat, month after month. You see people with the nice car, the newest phone, the cool clothes, right? But underneath all that, there's actually no real wealth being built. It's like they're on a treadmill of just consumption, and it leaves them incredibly fragile financially. So the big question is, how do you break out of that trap? Well, the solution is surprisingly simple. Yeah, almost boringly simple. But the results? They're anything but. You know, we're all sort of conditioned to think that getting wealthy comes from these huge, dramatic moments, right? Like some big Wall Street deal, a tech IPO, a lottery win. But that stuff is the exception. It is not the rule. The real secret, it's not glamorous at all. It really comes down to three things: consistency, time, and the absolutely incredible power of compound growth. All right, now here's a number you can actually do something about: 60%. This is a huge chunk of the population that you can get ahead of with just one simple action. Yep, you heard that right. Just by building the discipline to save and invest $100 every single month, you immediately jump ahead of the majority of people out there. And look, at first, it's not even about the amount. It's about building the habit, the muscle memory, that most people simply never develop. Okay, so you're probably thinking, that's great, but where am I supposed to find an extra $100 a month? Fair question. Let's break down the two simplest ways to do it. And spoiler alert, the most successful people, they do both. I mean, it's not rocket science. It's a simple formula. You either reduce your expenses or you increase your income. There's no magic wand here, just making some intentional choices. So let's look at what that actually looks like. Okay, on the reduce expenses side of things, start with your fixed costs. Seriously, a couple of phone calls to your insurance company or your cell phone provider could easily save you $50 a month, just like that. Then do a subscription on it. I mean, are you really watching all 7 of those streaming services? And from there, tiny adjustments, like eating out one less time a week, can easily get you the rest of the way. Or you could tackle it from the other side and focus on increasing your income. Look, today's economy has endless opportunities for this. You can freelance skills you're already using in your day job, you could start a small side hustle, or just pick up some part-time work. Honestly, the how matters way less than just committing to making it happen. Okay, so you found your $100. Now we get to the really cool part. This is where that money stops being just, well, money, and starts turning into a wealth-generating machine that works for you, around the clock, 24/7. So let's watch how this actually builds over time. After 10 years, and we'll assume a pretty reasonable 8% return from the market, your $100 a month grows to about $18,000, which is nice, but it's not exactly life-changing, right? But stretch that out to 40 years, and that same habit, that same $100, explodes to over $350,000. That is the power of time. And here's what's so wild when you break it down. Over those 40 years, you personally only put in $48,000. That's it. But your account grew to over $350,000. So where did that extra 300 grand come from? It came from your money making more money all on its own. Let's just put a single number on that idea: 85%. And this right here, this is the concept that really separates the people who build wealth from those who don't. I mean, just let that sink in for a second. The vast majority of your wealth in this scenario didn't come from your paycheck. It didn't come from your labor. It came from compound growth doing all the heavy lifting for you. Your job is just to keep feeding the machine consistently and let time do the rest of the work. But, this is about more than just the numbers on a spreadsheet. Honestly, the hardest part is just developing the discipline to stick with it. And that requires a real shift in how you think about money. And that's exactly why the smartest investors use something called automation. They just set it and forget it. That $100 gets pulled and invested automatically every single month, just like your Netflix bill or your rent. You treat it like a bill you have to pay. You pay yourself first. It takes willpower completely out of the equation and makes being consistent totally effortless. Look, this idea is definitely not new. There's this famous quote, people often say it was from Albert Einstein, that perfectly sums it up. By investing, you're choosing to be on the side of this financial law that earns the interest, not the side that pays it. And that really drives home the most important takeaway from all of this. Once you really, truly understand the power of compounding, you realize your biggest asset isn't how much money you make, it's not your car, it's not your house, it's time. And so the most crucial point is this. Every single month that you wait to get started, that's a month of potential growth that is just gone forever. You can't get that time back. The cost of doing nothing is absolutely enormous. They say the best time to start investing was 20 years ago. And yeah, we can't change that. But the second best time, it's right now, today. So really, the only question left is, when are you going to begin?